Hello, everyone, and welcome to Palcast. Palcast is a podcast brought to you by Yusuf Al Jamal in Sakarya, Turkey, and Tony Groves in Dublin, Ireland. Tony is busy again today with his family, but he will be back next week. Um, Today is Tuesday, March 31st, and we are joined by Noor Alhinnawi, who speaks to us directly from Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip. And again, it's 3:20 p.m. local time here for the benefit of our listeners, just to keep track of time. Back to Noor. Noor is an English language student at Al-Aqsa University in Gaza, and she's about to graduate this semester, which is great, and start her career. But again, she's in Gaza, a city or a strip of land that has experienced genocide for more than 2 years and a half. And we're going to talk more about the situation there. So, Noor is a Palestinian writer from Gaza. She studied, survived through the genocide, and she knew how to weaponize pain and make an echo from silence through writing, narrating a chapter of her life marked by challenges and resistance, as she says. Noor, thank you very much for joining us today.
I know. Thanks for you, Yusuf, for inviting me and having the good chance to have my voice heard here.
We're
So,
thankful to people like you who have been joining us from Gaza for more than 2 years and a half now. We're thankful to our co-sponsors, the Hashim Sani Center for Palestinian Studies and Just Word Educational and Tony's Tortoise Shack Media that allowed us to continue this conversation. Just before we started recording this interview, you told me that it's very depressing to look around, to go outside. Why why is it so? Why is it depressing to do that?
every neighborhood in Gaza, even the north or the south, the whole situation is really parallel. The same all have ruined places, ruined neighborhoods. And when I go outside and see how the dippers is still there, how the rebels still um, and even among these rebuilt and partially damaged homes, there's still some families still living and making an habitable place in a place that can't be lived out, and no more. So when I go, I feel kind of depressing, but I feel there's just a glimmer of hope when I see these people. How people are going. Um, Living and making the lively of these abundant neighborhoods full of ruins. How these children goes and play and pull out few stuff from the rebels looking for toys for anything of use. So I don't know. This is really very strange feeling. I don't know. I don't want it to get used to it because this is
So
what we're living here is not
you've
normal.
been living there for more than 2 years. You were displaced from the north of Gaza, you told me offline. What happened to your family's home, your neighborhood?
Unfortunately, we've been struck in the south for 2 years. We helplessly have been there. Our homes have been really a while ago has been fully damaged. Um, and the whole area in the north is really can't be reached, as signed as the yellow area zone. That the military zone is still operating there. So even our homes, even the rebels of our homes, we are not allowed to have a glimpse at it. We couldn't
Which part
even
of Gaza exactly is that?
in the north in Jabalia, Beit Lahia,
Yeah.
there. Yes,
So, how did
and
you make it to the south? Could you please tell us more about your journey, your family's
yeah.
journey to the south?
So if I would start telling you about how is I got to the north, it will take hours and hours. Even though we only have spent in the north only 2 months, and in the first early 2 months of the war, and it was horrific. What we've seen here, even after we living here for about a years, 2 years in the south, we haven't experienced something as horrible as there. Um, we have sheltered after our home. We sheltered in many hospitals there in the north before they're solving helplessly to go to the south. We were sheltered in the Indonesia hospital, in Auda hospitals, and everywhere we got bombed here, we got um, targeted there. So we just fled from one place to another so that we will be more safety, where we'll find safety there. But and when we had really find no place, there is nothing left can be just make us cling to life in the north. Even still we are longing for to return to the rebels of our homes is there. Maybe we have will send a tent there. There's no problem, but we don't need
So how
to.
long did you stay in the north until you decided there is no way you could stay there and you moved to the south with your family?
Yeah, I'm just telling you about this was to your surprise. It will be only 2 months. I'm talking about the horrifics of 2 months that make us go to the south. And when we go to the south,
Uh,
it wasn't
Do you remember
easy.
how many times you were displaced in 2 months?
In the north,
Yes.
maybe at the first in the Indonesia hospital, which was very near. We goes there in foot, very near to our homes, and then Al Auda hospital. And the second days we sheltered there. The third floor was targeted, and my brothers and my families have really lit there unscathed. We were very lucky back then, and we there tried to go to the through the Nistring corridor to reach the south, and we get back helplessly that there was no entry for that day, and we had to go from the Nistring corridor. Was about 7 kilometers from the hospital we sheltered, and we returned input in the middle of the night. That day is really haunting. And then we have to shelter at at school. Then for 6 days, we spent there. Then the ceasefire, the first ceasefire, have started, and we during the ceasefire. We were very lucky to go through the Nisrin corridor and to reach the south. We thought that the war wouldn't take so long, so but we go there um, just we have some doubts actually, but some people really thought the war wouldn't take so long.
Yeah. So
Nobody expected.
how did you cross the Nitzirium corridor? Did you have cars? Did you have I know some
Actually,
people use
it
donkey carts and things like that.
yeah, it was a long story, a long journey back then. We didn't go once or twice. We go about 3 times. The first time we got a bus to take us there, and we spent 3 hours, literally 3 hours under the sun, holding our ID cards in the middle of nowhere. It was literally like a desert there. Oh, the whole place is. Nitzrin Kurta was a place where the greens, the green lands was there, and it was stretches around along the highway of Salahuddin. But when I got there, it's like a place I haven't really gone through. It was really strange for me that time. So
Was
we
it
just
because of the
had,
destruction you couldn't recognize the
yeah,
place?
yeah, there was nothing else, no green, no, just like a desert. All the places have been even partially damaged or damaged. Along the ways there were snipers. They had put their guns, and we've recognized from holes in the demolished, some partially demolished homes along the roads.
How many of
And
you?
um, we got there with my family, and I've come distant relatives, but there with the people were hundreds at least. Ma- there were among them there were patients, and there yes they have been approached in their hospital beds there. And just like us, they waited under the sun for hours. I felt really pity. I don't know. It's just like filling up. We children started crying. They begged for water, and everyone was really. It's been hours. The whole day we spent there, and after that, they said simply they shot a bullet and fired directly upon us and said there is no entry for today. Rem- Just can you imagine that? So we returned on foot 7 kilometers to reach the shelter, and we know that it's about the evening, the night's fall, and we didn't expect it ourselves to reach there in time actually. And the road, it was really very horrible. And the story starts when we get returned, not by going through and experiencing this horrifics. When we an hour way going back to returning, we found no cars, no mobiles, no even cart carriages drawn by animals. None, all of one refused to just give us a drive because the night is really has starts to fall and the drones was hovering over us. It was really very danger to go through. So we had to keep it in foot, and we not only our families, all of those really hundreds were that time we walked the streets alone. There is no one else. The whole places were really dissolute, just like it was a place haunted by ghosts back then. And in my way, actually, my father is very old. He couldn't take it anymore. He was just waking with a cane. So my older brother had his to keep his pace, and he was very slow. So we couldn't keep up with him. We had just left them actually. We didn't know. We just older brother had gone with them. And they when I was saying that it was like the day of judgment, whereas there is everyone's is concerned to himself. It was like that we holding our stuff. We were not just going by ourselves. We holding stuffs. We're burdened with the clothes of because winter was indoors. So we couldn't just take and just drop off these all these burdens because we need them. These are our only necessities we picked up. So we continued and continued with my younger brother and my mother and my sister. And my mother, also in the middle of the road, she took a rest and the roadside. And actually, we lost the track of her actually. So we, after a moment, after a while, we have recognized her missing. And actually, as the wave of people had just continued, but only my older brother have just resolved to return to her, leaving all his burdens, all of his stuff to us, to his sister. So we hold his own, and we continued. Me and my sister and me all with along with the distant relatives there, and we continued on foot to reaching 7 kilometers. I haven't expected myself to reach there, and we made it to the Al Auda hospital, where we near the Al Tunisi hospital, which where we started our journey from there. And I've reached we just maybe a kilometers apart from the hospital. We was very lucky to have a carriage that accepted to take us to the hospital.
So you
But
haven't crossed the Nitzarine corridor yet. So this
no,
is the second time they sent you back. And
no,
could you
it was
please, yeah,
uh,
was it the third time?
no, it was the first time this. And in the second time and the third, we didn't make it even to the Nazarene corridor. The tank has been blocking the road, so we couldn't manage to return with the car. Um, but in the third time, during the ceasefire, the situation was really quiet, and so we crossed safely back then.
Where did you go after you crossed?
Um, to our relatives in the north, in the south, to Khan Yunis, directly to the Khan Yunis. And
Yeah.
yes, If you would be surprised where we were compelled to really actually to come to the south. My father just and during the ceasefire he returned to see the home and was partially damaged. Yes, so there is something wrong goes with him, and he just I don't know. He just see it from afar. He didn't go. He was like traumatic or something like this, struck by how his all years of spending and all his works. And so he returned back, and unknowingly, he thought we have already gone to the south, and he goes there by himself. And we didn't expect this.
Yeah.
So, in the same day, we know that we felt that we have to follow him there.
So you went and you saw the house.
Oh, during the ceasefire, we returned. Before we hit the
Yeah.
south, we had just like having a farewell there.
You're
We go.
staying now at your relative's house?
Yes, I'm still doing there. We have evacuated it a few times, but we returned. Alhamdulillah, we find it still intact from the last concur.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
And could you please tell us more about starvation and how you survived the starvation in the south of Gaza?
and this is really important point to talk about. When the starvation started to struck the south, the strip. We were at Al Mawasi. We were evacuating and sheltering at Al Mawasi in a tent, actually. So, and back then we were near the GHF points and these. So most people were mostly were youngs and men. They haven't found anything, any bread, anything. It was really the prices were very high. Can nothing is affordable back then. So even my younger brothers went there. Actually, they risked their lives multiple times, and I don't know how did this had this hearts and how we still alive back then. I don't know. It was very horrible times. Having only one meal in a day while we having expecting have a test and continuing my study at the in the university. I didn't have how to focus back then. It was really a miracle that we survived it. My father is the most one affected by the hunger back then. He became very frail, very sick, and still weak now. Something that can't be retrieved. Some is the strength of his old age. Um, my father, by the way, he's really at the late of his 70s. So before the war, he wouldn't expect him. We would be say very young back then. We go to the markets, buy everything, and um, even he has a car, but he had always go very healthy, but and athletic back then, I guess. But now when we see him, really the war, seeing his homes damaged, really hardly affected him more than us, we the young. He's still so his home totally damaged. All
Yeah.
his 70
But
years of building, and all
t- t-
just
Noor, could you please tell me more about your education during the genocide and how did you continue your education?
yeah. The first struggle was really internet connections. It was very horrible. The points here. After about a year and a half, we had some internet connection, but it was very weak. I've lost almost a year in my education. But at once when know that the university started and the semester is still starting opened and it's about to start. So I'm told to myself this just the war may never end. So I have just finished my education at least, have a certificate. And through my education during the war, it had learned me how to document what are the horrifics that I've seen. So I started writing. It's like Education wouldn't stop, wouldn't be restricted by the war. Even in weak connections, we had tests, we had homeworks, we still studying, we still resist.
So you mentioned that you lived in a tent briefly. How was the
Yeah,
experience and for how long?
you know, was if it's we in one word, let's describe it as horrible. And I hope it went really back. It was really, I don't know what to say it. It was a very horrible chapter of my life. Living in a tent, no matter people how would try to decorate it, how people make just living there, but it sounds strange. People usually use tents to camp for or leave or have some um vacations in the sun, but living there for about months, I don't know. We don't have to mention the fleas, the sun, which is really scattering all the place. Uh, I don't know. Was
And was it winter or summertime?
no, it was summer. They
Yeah.
say both they are horrible. The sun, the blazing suns, and the winter with its colder, freezing nights. We spent partially both of them in the late of summer and the beginning of the winter, where we went. We didn't during the winter. We didn't sleep the nights. We just holding stakes, trying push out the water from leaking into the tents, and um, there was no nights during winter. We didn't have sleep. We had all the stuffs get wet by the water. Um, we couldn't go to use the bathrooms when it's winter, when it's raining outside, and it was really hard, difficult back then.
So after all of this, you've experienced horrible things in your life. It's a genocide, but you're still working, trying to finish your education. And do you have a plan for the future?
Yeah, my first plan is just be a writer that deserves to document all of the scene of this war. I would continue writing stories of what I have experienced, and seeking maybe a bachelor degree, maybe have a scholarship. I have many thoughts in my mind, but let's just finish university the next year, and we will have really big things to think about.
This is great to hear. We wish you a very good luck and thank you very much for joining us today. You said that you will show me the area around the house where you're staying so that people have an idea about the amount of destruction
Yeah,
that Gaza saw. So if you can do that, it will be good. Otherwise, you can
yeah.
also share a video if you like later.
Yes, I will see. I thought I would be showing you down from the rooftops because it won't be here very. We'll see. Have a look. Just second. I'm start reaching the point. Yes, yes. Just like the camera. So this is from the window. Here you have seen people. This is houses have been burned to the crisps. Actually, the people still living there. You have seen this. My neighborhood is very lucky that is not far completely damaged as the others. This is this is from this is the school. which is supposed to be holding classes now, it now have become a shelter for displaced families. And you can see
Yeah, the damage to the
people
houses,
start
basically.
trying to live, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for showing us Gaza. Although it's full of destruction, as we see, and tents,
Yeah.
displacement. Thank you for sharing your experience with us today. And we will make sure that a lot of people listen to this interview and learn about the situation in Gaza. Thank you again. And thank you to Tony, Total Shack Media, and Just World Educational, and the Hashim Sani Center for Palestine Studies for allowing this podcast to continue. I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Some people's misery or other people's gain. Enrich the rich and make them richer. They see property as opportunity, a business that'll make the sickness sicker. If they build too many houses, it'll drive down the price. It's just cold economics to them. So there's no will to address it, cause it's not in their interest. We've seen it over time and time again. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. In this world, in this life, it's a basic human right to have a dignified place you call your own. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. Safe and warm where you belong. Everyone should have a home. Housing developers that are hung up on greed and hungry vultures swooping from the sky. Crucifying rents that are on the increase. Shamefully they bleed the people dry. All the vacant properties, we can see them in our towns. Sign the papers and take down the boards. A home, not a hotel. A home, not a hostel. A home, not a cardboard box on the side of the road. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. In this world, in this life, it's a basic human right to have a dignified place you call your own. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. Safe and warm where you belong. Everyone should have a home. We've got landlords and government who vote and legislate in favor of investments they control. Our leaders, they facilitate and then wave away the emergency created at their door. The money minds get richer and the poor just fade into hovels and holes they can't afford. Dystopian evictions, ruthless repossessions, a wealthy country's people and a stranglehold. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. In this world, in this life, it's a basic human right to have a dignified place you call your own. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. Safe and warm where you belong. Everyone should have a home. Safe and warm where you belong.